We are live. This is the market update. I'm back. I'm your host, Bill Noble. So, is the eclipse in April good for Bitcoin? Yes. Should you sell in May and go away? Yes. Should you buy it all back in June? Stay tuned. If you need a roadmap in crypto, subscribe to this channel. Turn on alerts so you know when we're going live. And if the content works for you, hit the like button. Okay, let's welcome who's on the stream. We got Bart here first. Welcome. Rugby Performance Labs. Crypto Bullseye with a little education out there in the UK. Kenneth Phillips, the Sport Hobbyist, SFG, Joseph, Bull Runner, Zoran from Croatia. Welcome. It's nice to be back. Tito, Bull Runner, Jeff with the Notorious love from New Orleans. Raj is here. Morianne from Ohio. Welcome. Richard Barry, Georgia. Yes, I'm back. Mr. Moby Dick from Belgium. Hello from an iceberg in Greenland. News today on our Bark token from the Emerging Asset Group. Buyers of water are out there. Mr. Moby Dick, congratulations on 3K subs. Thank you all out there for 3K subs. Reverend Flashback, Slow Ride, Andre. Okay, let's kick it into the news. Now, we could have called this, why is the market down? Okay, but I didn't. Because the U.S. government is trying to invade the internet. Okay? It's as simple as that. They are going to use TikTok the way they used weapons of mass destruction way back when to say, oh, TikTok is bad. Now, is TikTok bad? I don't know. Government agencies and government contractors don't allow it on their phone, your personal phone. So TikTok may not be the best thing in the world, but to just shut TikTok off when everybody at Silicon Valley is doing the same darn thing. And then there are the details of this bill, which affect crypto. The market's kind of figuring this out today, slowly. So do you know if it lists the enemies of the United States, you know, Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, etc. Then it says if you use a VPN to access any of those countries, you're talking about a $250,000 fine, right? If you use a VPN to visit a banned app, whatever that is, that could be like, you know, years in jail. I heard 20. Then it says the president of the United States can appoint a communications czar, which can meet with a group of people who are not elected by the public to decide whether or not they like you or your content is of concern. And this bill allows them to use all devices at their disposal, microphones, webcams, smart TV, refrigerator with Wi-Fi, smart thermostat, whatever, to listen in on you. And if they don't like you, they'll shut you off. You know, social credit score can't be far behind, right? A social credit score is a number that, you know, where the government tells you what they think of your behavior. And if they don't like your behavior, like in China, if your social credit score drops, they can lock you out of your apartment. And this, of course, will all be connected to CBDCs, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so government is evil. How right my professor was. I took a class in MBA school It was with the director of the program. It was the first of 3 classes that we took. The final in 2000, when computers were just first coming into their own, it was an 8-hour final on the computer. 8 hours typing. Good thing I know how to touch type. Then he shocks everybody because he's a libertarian by saying that if you answer every single question on the test, government is evil, you get an automatic B for the class. Now, only one guy did that. Okay. But you could have done it. And now I know why. Because government really is evil. And you can't point to any political party. You can't say party A and party B. You know, you might think a certain political party would not support this bill, and there's 8 guys that support it. Wow. Now, what does this have to do with crypto? Well, everything. I mean, if you can't shut down Ethereum and you can't shut down Solana because, you know, Gensler and the CFTC and everybody can't figure out how to pass a law or how to get regulation. They're trying to get the courts to do it. They won't do it. Well, what do you have to control? Well, you have to control the internet. You have to control the internet. And that's why crypto was down at the time of this recording. And this is one of the reasons why, you know, sell in May and go away is at the top of my mind. Now, the eclipse in April is good for Bitcoin. It could be really good for ETH. Really good. So I'm not all bearish, but I'm trying to get people off of this mindset that I'm long Bitcoin forever and I'm never covering. Matter of fact, with Bitcoin, sometimes, or in any crisis or in any major fundamental shift, sometimes people can get forced out of the obvious trade, right? Because they don't have the right location. I think the right location is to let, you know, difficulties with communications, the internet, solar storms, geopolitical events transpire in May and June. Use that as an opportunity to get long for the summer rally. And there's a stock market event in the fall, and Bitcoin may not care about that. But Bitcoin's definitely going to care about the government trying to control the internet, disguised as a BS TikTok ban. So my lesson is, be careful of consensus trades. Like, here's another consensus trade, right? You know, the media has picked up that the world is allegedly ending because the Chinese and the French and a couple other countries in the BRICS sphere did energy trades without the US dollar. So crypto Twitter just discovered this yesterday, along with CNN and Fox News, trading and economic geniuses all. So the dollar is going to be in trouble as the world's reserve currency, but whether it is or not, that's a geopolitical event. It's a geopolitical event, right? This is a markets channel. So where people should be saying, oh my God, the reserve currency, they should be asking themselves, what's the case? Why is the dollar at 102? Why is DXY at 102? It's going to 60, or it's at least going to 91. And if it goes there, then commodities like gold, oil, and wheat should move. The real reserve currency of the world is gold. Bitcoin is soon to join it, followed by Ethereum. Some point in 2023, which is why you want to get, you know, I did a little tweet this morning, you know, hold gold until you're old. The thing you want to HODL is metals. The thing you want to make sure you can grab on any scary dip is Bitcoin. It's as simple as that. But it's hard to be patient. It's simple, but it's impossible, right? Like, people are looking at me and people on Twitter are like, Bill, I'm not selling anything. I can never sell. I don't blame you. I'm not telling you to like unload everything. I'm not. And this is not like Celsius sell in May and go away, but you can get a really nasty dip. And who knows how nasty. Nobody thought Silicon Valley Bank was going to blow up the banking system. Nobody thought that. So let me say it another way. This is the year of black swans. Bitcoin may have its black swan with this internet law or something related, solar storms knocking out power. Don't laugh. It's Google it. Google it. Okay. Bitcoin could have its own black swan in May and June, just as everybody's like buying it at 32K in April. Then that's when you're supposed to grab Bitcoin for the legacy black swan, where everybody gets long Bitcoin in July and August, and hopefully you can hold on through the stock market crash. Now, speaking of a stock market crash, you got to ask yourself, what could create a stock market crash? U.S. government trying to control the internet, power outages, geopolitical events, stuff outside the control of the Fed, which doesn't even have control of the banking system. So if you think, what I'm saying is stupid, perhaps think again. Perhaps think again. So I have a little thing in here about May. So I'm trying to figure out using Gann and Egyptian and biblical numerology, as well as, regular astrology and astronomy, which Gann was an expert at. So I'm looking for something in May. And I get this from ChatGPT. May is also the month. May is also the month when the sun enters Gemini. That's a sector of space, which is ruled by Mercury. So planets and sectors of space can have different meanings. Learning them all is, you have to quit your day job to learn it all. Now I don't have to. ChatGPT does it. So May is the month where the sun enters Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury, the planet of communication and transportation. Mercury is also associated with electricity and magnetism. The planet of communication and transportation. So are you telling me it's an accident that the U.S. government is floating a bill about the ultimate form of transportation for crypto and communication, as in the internet? Is that an accident? I don't believe in accidents. So the moral of the story is, when it comes to Gann, when it comes to Bitcoin, ride the wave, okay? But psychologically, don't get dogmatic, because something could happen to Bitcoin. Everybody could get flushed out, and then everyone's selling Bitcoin when they should be buying it because something's about to happen to legacy. This is essentially the Bitcoin roadmap. I probably should have said that in the beginning. Swiss authorities reveal the cost of Credit Suisse's liquidity lifeline. Let me help you out with this. Here was the cost. The Swiss National Bank said, you guys who are holding Credit Suisse stocks and bonds, yeah, you're wiped out. And now we're going to spend money to save the place so this little tiny country doesn't have this gigantic banking disaster. Meta reportedly considering banning European political ads. As the world becomes more polarized, it gets more scary, right? In other words, Meta kind of needs the money. This reeks of a polarized, scary world. German inflation slows sharply as energy price spike fades. Economy slowing down in Europe. Less energy consumption. Be careful, okay, of a Fed that continues to tighten despite moderating inflation. These guys scare me. They tightened during a banking crisis. And who knows, the ECB may continue to tighten even with this news, because it takes a while for tightening moves to come in. So there's government is evil. That was earlier in the stream. And then this is a hint that government is stupid. FDIC chair grilled over crypto-friendly bank takeovers. Well, it probably hasn't escaped someone's attention that Circle was one of the biggest beneficiaries of the Silicon Valley Bank depositor bailout. And now they're yelling at the FDIC chair about it. They're yelling at everybody about it. They're hysterical about crypto. Now, is it about the dollar as the world's reserve currency? Maybe. Is it about confidence in the dollar? Definitely. They do not want the American public to open a Fidelity account and hit the green buy button for Bitcoin. They are scared that that's going to be embarrassing. And that's what's going to happen over the summer and either during the fall equity market event or after. Citi says mass adoption of crypto will be driven by CBDCs and tokenization. Okay, well, CBDCs are coming because they're evil. We talked about that. Citibank wants tokenization. So does BlackRock. Want to know why? Because there's no liquidity, right? We all take for granted we can hit the red button or the green button and do a trade. Well, guess what? Citibank and BlackRock are telling you that's not true. You have to take a building and break it down into tokens and sell the building as a tokenized product. You have to do it with the Mona Lisa. You have to do it with, say, companies, small companies, venture capital loans, commercial loans, bonds, bond portfolios. There's no liquidity. Otherwise, why would Wall Street want everything on the blockchain? Read between the lines. XRP trading volume surges on crypto exchanges in Singapore. I'm sorry, South Korea. Everybody's rolling their eyes at me. I swear to God. I'm like, hey, someone's got to look at XRP. They're going to beat the SEC in this case, and it's a rapid moving currency. Now, there's a million things you can say about XRP that's negative. But the one thing you can say about XRP is that it's fast, and it's been around, and people might use it as money. I remember back in 2017 when this trader I knew was trading in all the chaos in a bear market. He's like, yeah, when I need to move crypto from one place to another, I just convert everything into XRP and it's lightning fast over in, where it needs to go. And has anybody thought that they're going to somebody is going to need to take crypto at Christmas to save Christmas this year? I know I said that the last 2 years, but don't blow this off. Don't. Okay. U.S. FDIC tells Signature Bank crypto clients to close their account by April 5th. This is why they're taking over the internet, because this is pathetic, right? They can't stop. Bitcoin volatility likely as options worth $4 billion expire on Friday. The way I would say it is, don't read too much action. Don't read too much into action you see on Friday. Options expirations can create a lot of volatility that may or may not have anything to do with the current price trend, fundamentals, or technicals. When I worked at the investment banking firms, Legacy, options expiration used to take the day off. No point looking at charts. It's not driven by the things you think it's driven about. Meanwhile, a top U.S. official says crypto had no direct role in bank failures. We know this. They know this, but they're trying to shut crypto down anyway. They're trying to shut it down anyway. Insane. Be careful with this bill about the internet. So, Crypto Bullseye in the house. Crypto Clan, welcome. Right? Sarah's back. Yes, I'm back. BitBoy Al, Rave Song Records. Ricardo, Steve, Bao Tran, welcome. Welcome to the show. Leroy says carbon trading tax on CBDC. Hopefully they don't try to do that to Bitcoin. Okay. King is here with the Notorious love. Okay. Let's go to PowerPoint. End of the month, going to talk some monthly charts. Okay, it's that time again. It is crunch time. Tax season in the U.S., 15 to 18 days away. Pro Bitcoin Solutions, a group of guys who do Bitcoin forensics and prepping, very smart people. Bitcoin forensics as in they can find your Bitcoin in case you've lost it. They are offering readers, listeners, viewers of this show a report about your taxes, $20 per coin, discounted from $40, and they're offering you a report that you can give to your accountant or use to file your taxes, $50 off at $149. It's probably a good idea for everybody in crypto to be as clean as possible. Pay your taxes, know what the liability is. These guys make it easy. Let's put it this way. I paid way more than that to get my taxes done before these guys came to me. The link is down below, probitcoinsolutions.com/noble. Now let's talk about groupthink. More on groupthink. So what's the general public doing in the banking crisis? Well, they're going, gee, I got to get my money out of the bank, so I'll put my money in a money market mutual fund, which you can do on schwab.com, or you can just push a button and that can be done. A couple things about money market funds. Obviously, here you can see from Google Trends that the entire herd of sheep is piling into money market funds, searching it on Google. They should use ChatGPT because ChatGPT would tell you the following. 1, a money market mutual fund is not FDIC insured. So if something happens to your money market mutual fund or it freezes because the securities they hold go bad, sorry. Now, when you put your money in a money market mutual fund trying to run away from banks, you don't realize that the short-term debt instruments held by the money market mutual funds likely come from banks and insurance companies from all over the world, as well as industrial companies, you know, Coca-Cola, whatever. But a lot of it is bank paper. So they're running away from banks. They're running away from banks that might be backstopped by the FDIC and the Fed into something that's not backstopped by the FDIC that owns the paper of the banks that they're running away from. Don't be a sheep. Don't be a sheep. Don't follow the herd. It's not investment advice. Don't follow the herd. Now, if the money market mutual fund has treasury bonds in it or treasury bills, that could be a different story. Because if the U.S. government can't pay its bills on its treasury bonds or its bills, then we have a whole other set of problems. But people are just mindlessly piling into this. Don't invest or trade like a mindless sheep. More than $100 billion went into money market funds last week. Okay? Not last week, like 2 weeks ago. Mindless scrambling. Personally, I think you're better off with physical cash, gold, and survival food than a money market fund. You're also better off owning a share of stock. Question, which is better? $1 in the bank or $1's worth of, say, a consolidated giant oil company? I can't answer that question, but as you can tell by the price action in the stock market, Mr. Market has an answer. A stock goes into a AAA-rated clearinghouse. And it's also insured by the SIPC in case it's lost. It doesn't guarantee the value of the stock. But, you know, unless ExxonMobil's going away, the stock is not going to vaporize like a bank deposit. So the market is doing kind of an everything is all right trade, and it's doing a flight to safety trade. Normally, everything is all right trades and flight to safety trades end badly, but that's not the current environment. Now, here we have the Fed hiking rates. So the black line was the Fed hiking 150 basis points over 3 years back in 2015. Here we have the Fed hiking 450 basis points in 9 months. And they just kept right on going. And they may just keep right on going until they really blow up the system. Who hikes rates in the middle of a banking crisis unless you want to pretend the banking crisis is not there or you want to break everything? Possibly including crypto. They're madmen. You blow up banks. When you tighten like this, banks can't manage interest rate risk, or not. The smart banks can't. I'm sorry. The small banks probably can't. And if you've been used to zero rates since 2009, psychologically, you're not thinking the Fed's going to tighten 450 basis points in 9 months. Now there are all these articles like, ooh, Silicon Valley Bank blew up because they couldn't manage interest rate risk. Yeah, okay. Nobody's managed interest rate risk, I think, since 1994. Really, when it comes to interest rates going up. You know, they can't tighten like this, and if they do, they break things. Now, that's going to benefit crypto, obviously. I mean, Bitcoin is like, okay, Bitcoin's up 60% for the year. And Bitcoin's going to wind up a lot higher, I think. You know, like next year, after the stock market blow up, July and August. I mean, the trend is your friend on the upside. But just because the trend is your friend doesn't mean that dips can't be nasty. And if these guys just proceed to 5%, used car prices. Let's talk about the Fed and everything that the Fed does backfiring on it. So they raise rates to stop inflation. They raise rates to the point where nobody can find a new car or afford a new car or qualify for a loan for a new car after the Silicon Valley Bank debacle. And what does that do? Well, it sends everybody to used cars because they're just cheaper. So used car prices go parabolic. They were going down, and now they just turn around and go up. So I want to raise rates to stop inflation, but when I raise rates, prices go up. Same thing with rent. Oh my God, rent's higher. Yeah, of course rent's higher, bro. 30-year mortgage rate, recently it went down. But if they continue to go at the pace that they were going, nobody can afford a house. So they gotta rent an apartment. It's backfiring on the Fed. So not only have they lost control of the banking system, but their inflation following strategy is a farce. Hence the bid for crypto. Hence what I think is going to be a mega bid for gold and silver in April, May, June, and July. Just up only, even if Bitcoin has an event. Matter of fact, if Bitcoin has like a flash event in May or June, I think that's just going to drive the bid for gold even more. Kind of keep my fingers crossed. You know, GLDN, gold connected, Bark, water token, good news out today. Customers, U.S. government, you know, working on them. Customers in the Middle East lined up. Clean, fresh water. Michael Burry, Big Short. What did he buy in 2008 when it was all over? Water. Assets held by financial institutions without a banking license. You're like, oh my God, Bill, what? How about this? Hidden leverage in the system. There's something out there, and we don't know what it is or where it is. The hidden leverage in the system. This is what takes down corporate bonds, the dollar, stocks. This is where the problem is. Non-banking financial institutions are holding $225 trillion, and they don't have a banking license. And crypto is the problem. $225 trillion. What's total crypto market cap? Like $1 trillion? Please. Okay, stocks. Squeezing everybody, including the guy from The Big Short. Okay. Guys in The Big Short like Michael Burry are never wrong, but they're always early. The thought leaders are always early. Stocks are above their 60-day exponential moving average. They've been kind of hugging it for a while. Hey, folks, don't doubt that this could be like a gradual up only, especially if they do everything is all right trade. Because think about it. People are buying Bitcoin because everything is not all right. So Bitcoin could have a final push in April. I mean, I am not bearish Bitcoin. But if this everything all right trade picks up, stocks could hold or do okay, have a late sell in May, and people could go, gee, maybe things are all right. Maybe I don't need Bitcoin. Or at least I don't need Bitcoin this week. Now, of course, what may say Bitcoin, it's definitely going to propel gold, is a much lower dollar. We'll get to that. So speaking of guys who are right, but early, MicroStrategy. So these green dots are all Michael Saylor's purchases of Bitcoin. Okay. This comes from an outside research house. Hat tip to my friend Andy. Okay. This dotted line is Michael Saylor's average price above 30, and Michael Saylor is buying Bitcoin at these prices with reckless abandon. And I don't blame him. Normally what happens when these big buy orders are in the market, that's what you get. You get this like listless range. And then most likely when the buy orders are done, you know, the thing just spikes higher, which is probably what's going to happen close to this hybrid solar eclipse. People can be like, oh my God, what does it mean? What does it mean? You heard it here first. It's constructive for Bitcoin. Problem is, you know, like I said, up now, but what happens in May and June? Like up now, good. Could benefit ETH, which we'll talk about. Don't get sucked in when everybody's euphoric, because this everything is all right trade is for real. And if Bitcoin takes a break from the everything is all right trade, it's vulnerable because the US government is trying to take it down by any means necessary, including invading the internet. Now let's talk about Bitcoin monthly. Month end coming up is being recorded on the 30th. Okay, so when you have a trend reversal like this, right? These little numbers, 1, 2, 3, that's the start of a new up move. Normally, it's optimal to try to get a dip on a 4 or a 5. Now, what do these numbers mean? Well, with DeMark, when a certain set of conditions are present, like the high is higher than the high 2 days ago or 2 months ago. It's not that, but something like that. You get a number 1. And when that set of conditions is present, the next day you get a number 2 and a number 3. And normally it goes to 9 and then it corrects and then goes the other way. It corrects, dips, meaning, and then the trend can resume. Normally, the idea is to try to buy a dip on the number 4 or the number 5. So, this is number 3. April will be number 4. March will be number 5. Somewhere April, May, there should be a dip. Sometimes dips off 4s can be nasty. Like, look at this. There's another 4 on the way down. Hard to see maybe, but right before Celsius, right before it blew up, Bitcoin went down and they squeezed everybody out. And then they dropped it for 3 straight months. Something somewhat similar could happen. You could have a blow off top, a slump for 1 or 2 months, and then it goes. Then it goes. So there's precedent for this. Now, when you look at ETH, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different, right? In ETH, sometimes you can get robust trend continuation on the 4. There's a 4, there's a 4, there's a 4. ETH was falling, going in the direction of the trend. So a lot of people may not be talking about this, but what about a catch-up rally for ETH in April? Possible. Very possible. Like a big one. Everyone's like in Bitcoin talking about Bitcoin dominance. I get it. Bitcoin dominance, like Bitcoin, is going much higher. But is that a consensus trade? Groupthink. Why do you watch this show? To avoid groupthink. Groupthink will get you stopped out at the low when you're supposed to be buying it. You'll be selling it to people who would be considered smart money. Now, again, nobody has a crystal ball. I'm not perfect. But this is a year where you're going to get surprised, even if there are ideas that are rock solid, like, dollar lower, gold and Bitcoin higher, stocks eventually down, corporate bond banking system blow up. We all know that. And that's the problem. We all know it. By the way, on Ethereum, if grains and metals go up and the dollar goes down, based on statistical research done by an economist at another firm I worked at, ETH can do much better. So it may be sell in May and go away, and everyone's like, well, what about April? And I'm like, well, April could be ETH and gold. Because if they got to shut off the internet to try to stop crypto, ETH is not a security. We know ETH is not a security, but they're giving up on that if they're trying to stop the internet. So in the supply of ETH, as I'm told, is also shrinking. So I have no idea why everybody is selling ETH and is all down on everything Ethereum. That's ridiculous. So love Bitcoin, of course. Love crypto, of course. How do you trade it? Well, you buy Ethereum when everybody's talking about Bitcoin. And then you buy Bitcoin when, there's an internet disruption or some sort of weird thing happening with communications, the internet, electricity. I don't know the future. I'm just trying to give you a read based on the research that I'm doing. Okay, Bitcoin daily chart. This is called Harmonics. I'm doing the show on Debate Crypto, Magic Internet Money. Turned me on to this, bought a couple books, drew some of the formations. It's more complicated than you would think. I'm showing April 7th as a key date. Maybe that's when you get the blow off top, or maybe in the neighborhood of the blow off top. Okay. Gann says, don't try to catch the last bit of a move. Don't try to catch the last run up. If you're long, okay, it's cool. But, don't be like, oh, I got to chase it from 29 to 31. Don't do that. Not investment advice. I mean, if you want to be long, be long. I get it. But you don't want to be paying 30 when you could get it at 22 or 18 on a flash crash or a flash month or 2 flash months, right? I mean, could dip, come all the way back, and then dip and come all the way back. It would just kill people. You don't want to get seasick. Ride the boat. Don't get seasick. Now, Ethereum versus Bitcoin. So the bad news for Ethereum is that this completely broke down, and Ethereum and Bitcoin is going to dramatically outperform Ethereum based on this diamond formation. Now, as you can tell, Ethereum cracked versus Bitcoin went straight down. I'm kind of wondering if in April, Ethereum can recover. You can have a little bit of a bounce before Bitcoin eventually resumes dominance. I would not get in the way of Ethereum if silver and grains are rallying and the dollar is falling. Speaking of the dollar, okay, so everybody is yip yap about the dollar. Okay, dollar as the reserve currency, probably going to end eventually, not tomorrow. What people should be focused on is the fact that the dollar can go massively lower, right? In 1985, central banks just said, you know what? We need the dollar lower, and the foreign exchange market accommodated them by taking DXY from 150 to 84. Economics textbook, which Jerome Powell has read, the only solution to a debt crisis is a currency devaluation. So the dollar index at 103, the issue isn't, oh my God, China did a natural gas trade with France without the dollar. That's not the issue. The issue is we got a debt crisis, and the dollar should go from DXY should go from 103 to 60. This is like a 40% down move here. You should have another 40% down move because markets love symmetry. So if the dollar index goes from 103 to 60, what do you want to be long over the next 12 months? Well, you got to figure out how to grab Bitcoin, and you got to figure out how to grab ETH. But that's not going to be easy because you're going to have sell in May and go away, come back in July and let it fly. Then you got to deal with a stock market event in September and October. It's not going to be easy. So I'm trying to give you a roadmap. That's crystal ball-ish. We're all long. We're all positive crypto. This is the reason to be positive crypto and gold. You don't want to have all your eggs in one basket portfolio-wise, and you don't want to get dogmatic in your head because you can get stopped out and panic. Whatever makes Bitcoin, assuming it happens, whatever makes Bitcoin dip in May or June, assuming it happens again, it's going to be scary. Dollar index, speaking of scary, hidden pivot analysis shows dollar index below 102.79 targets 91.5. And I would say that would just happen and go straight down, right? Dollar index going to crack 100. Gold and silver are going to explode. ETH probably goes with it. That's for April, some point. May, you got to be careful. But dollar lower in price is the conversation that should be had, not the Chinese did a trade with the French. If I want to be trending, I'll do a short on it, which I did. And I got a lot of views. That's good. But if you want to do good research, you have to do things that people are not talking about. And how to profit from dollar lower should be on your mind. Dollar is going lower, in my opinion, not investment advice. How you profit from that and stay in the trade. Stay in the trade. Wheat, food. Coming off today, you got a new low in price and a higher low in stochastics. You have a geopolitical event like the nuclear plant in Ukraine. You got a nuclear plant over there, and they're still fighting. They're still fighting. You have a problem over there with a nuclear reactor. There's a lot of wheat and a lot of food that comes out of that area. And man, have they hammered this wheat chart. Holy cow. Wheat monthly. Elliott Wave, D-Wave analysis. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. If it holds, it could be a new high. Why are we talking about wheat? Well, emerging asset group, we have kind of a commodities group that we help our community with. ETH follows gold and grains. Think about it. Oil monthly. This is a wild card, right? Normally, higher oil, not good for Bitcoin, not good for financial markets, obviously. Okay. This is a monthly chart. This dotted line goes all the way back to 2015, and it looks like oil is trying to hold 73. I think it's definitely something to think about if you got some wild price spike in oil. A hurricane in Houston, something weird. Remember, Intermarket Technical Analysis by John Murphy. The guy regretted writing the book because everybody tried to hold him to every theory that he had in it. But as I remember, it was dollar down, commodities up. It's kind of like a general rule. Like last year was kind of the exception, right? It was dollar up, food up because of a rate hike cycle and a geopolitical event. Normally, dollar lower doesn't result necessarily in hyperinflation. It results in a commodities market rally. And that is the market update. Okay, we're going to speed over to live TA. Okay, DeMark work on a daily chart of Bitcoin. Obviously, there's resistance in 29K. So it's coming off today. This signal, you know, you may get 5 or 6 more sideways to up days based on this DeMark count.
Sharing the wrong screen.
Sharing the wrong screen. Got it. Okay. Okay, so dollar higher. I'm sorry. Bitcoin higher into resistance at 29K. There can be a blow off top above 29K for sure. It's probably not going to happen now. This looks like a subdued Bitcoin for the first part or first half of April. Okay, ETH on a daily chart. Okay, still respecting this resistance. You know, they keep trying to take ETH through 1800 and they can't do it. Okay. Now, will they be able to do it sometime in April? Probably. This is probably the big surprise for April. The big surprise in April would be ETH or Bitcoin up or ETH up a lot to sort of unwind some of the underperformance versus Bitcoin, only to see Bitcoin turn around in May and yikes. Okay. Tactical view. Okay. Want to stick with 4-hour charts going forward. Okay. You got a 13 top here on the ETH 4-hour chart. You got a 9 top here. You know, I can see a move to 1709. 1709 is probably pretty good support. When you look at Bitcoin on the 4-hour chart, okay, you know, 26K is possible. I mean, we're just flying back and forth in a range. And, you know, if you look at the D wave on Bitcoin, right, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 on that dip the other day and the 5-wave high last night. So, you know, you could come off. You could come off. Probably would not be ridiculous to see Bitcoin at 27, 26.8, something like that. Even as deep as 25.50. In other words, it would be kind of funny if they stopped everyone out by going through and sweeping all these lows, going down to 25.50, shot it vertically higher right before the solar eclipse, the very rare hybrid solar eclipse, got everyone sucked in. They stop everyone out, then they suck everybody in, then they drop it in May. Don't think this can't happen because this is what 2008 was like. This is what 2008 was like. Okay, Cardano. Okay, so we're focusing on a daily chart of Cardano. Actually, let's do this. Let's do the monthly chart of Cardano. Okay, so here's the good news is that in Cardano and some of these altcoins this month, if it remains up, this will be the formal reversal of the downtrend because you'll have a DeMark 1 count start for the month. Altcoins could have a decent April. They may even have a decent first part of May until it comes time to sell in May and go away. Sell in May and go away doesn't mean sell May 1. It means if there's a rally in May, let it go. Okay. So altcoins, Cardano, that looks pretty good. Layer 1 stuff that's been around for a long time, might be pretty good. I'm saying positive stuff about XRP. It's like I said it on the show. This guy was like, "You got to be kidding me." Monthly QNT, same thing. Starting on a 1. Weekly, okay, QNT above support, 121. If it holds, altcoins could be okay, right? If stocks are okay, altcoins can be okay. Altcoins ain't going to be okay in September and October, so you might as well make money while you can. Make money while you can. Make them stop you out. Not investment advice. Okay, Arweave. Okay, don't see anything particularly exciting on the weekly chart or the monthly chart. Like not seeing anything good or bad. Okay, AVAX. Okay, again, same thing, right? This could be the reversal. Web 2 is going to have to buy Web 3. I mean, Web 2, while the stocks are going up and everyone is liking the stocks, they're going to have to come up with a positive catalyst. If they come up with a positive catalyst, the stocks could go up. So really, if you want to chart Avalanche, you really should be looking at QQQ. Okay, Nasdaq 100 does nothing but go up. And if Nasdaq 100 takes out 322, it could really go up. Now, I mean, Kramer was like, hey, Nasdaq could go up. Don't get in front of this thing. Everybody wanted to fade him. Let's go to the monthly chart of Qs. So I don't know. You may get the dip next month. It's got the same look. But Web 2 is going to buy Web 3. Something else. I'm getting some hate on this as well. The Solana phone. You think we're not going to see a Solana phone? You think these guys are stupid that people aren't going to want crypto on their phone at the end of the year, at Christmas? That you look a year out? Like, yeah, we got to deal with the volatility because this is a market show, right? But think strategically. Do you think people, if Apple and, Samsung can't do it and Solana's giving you a phone where you can hold crypto and get airdrops? I'm getting one. Everyone hates Solana because of what happened with FTX. I don't know, man. Don't get dogmatic. You get emotional, you do groupthink, you get smoked. Okay? Okay, GLD, what would be a sell signal? Okay, so in GLD, this is gold. I think this is a 9 top, right? And then you get the temporary pause, and then the trend is starting to resume. I would say in GLD, the top would be 200. Okay, or, you get a massive new high in gold. To do it, to say it's simpler, I think, see how the 4 was the dip in GLD weekly. You sell gold when the entire planet thinks you need to own gold. Right now, no one does. Some people do. Gold coins are ridiculously overpriced versus spot. But when gold is mooning, switch to Bitcoin. Everyone's buying Bitcoin. No one's talking about gold or silver. Let Bitcoin have its blow off top, rotate to gold. So you're going to trade this off sentiment and time. Gold's time in the sun will be prior to the stock market event. Like everyone is like, I am not waiting for a stock market event. I am not waiting for a bank failure. I am not waiting. I want gold now. So this is gold weekly. Okay. And this looks like 8 to 9 more weeks up. That's how I would do it. Crypto Clan is liking the market update today. Okay. Polkadot. You know, when they go to tokenize everything, Polymesh, which used to be Polymath, is all going to run on Polkadot. When they do security tokens, this is going to happen, right? This is going to happen because you're going to find out why all these players are like, there's no liquidity. We need tokenized assets. Again, Polkadot, just like all these other altcoins, this is the reversal month up. Now, I guess if they sell everything the next couple of days or the rest of today, this could change. But stable Polkadot, stable Avalanche. You know, no one is looking at this for April. No one. Right? It'd be pretty funny if you had like a 45-day rip in altcoins. Who's ready for that? No one. No one is ready for that. Okay? Okay, folks, I'm wrapping it up here. Okay? Here is the thinking. Make money while you can. Believe in crypto, but don't get stopped out or chopped up. Okay? Personal prepping. Food, water, cash, crypto, metals, generator, like a hurricane. Like if you live in Houston, it's common sense. You got to have so much food, so much water, so much crypto, etc. Okay? Believe in crypto, but respect what crypto can do in terms of its volatility. Okay, we are headed over to debate crypto. So I'm going to sign off here, and I believe you're going to be auto redirected. So that's the market update. I will see you on Monday.